always safe with campfires, and only you can prevent wildfires. Remember, only you guys can prevent wildfires. It's up to you not to play with matches, not to play with fire. Be very safe when you're out in the forest, and even when you're not in the forest. So rule number 2 is always be careful with your fire. So if you guys are having a campfire when you're out camping, making sure you're careful with that fire and you don't leave it unattended. You know, when you're having fires, it could be at home when you're cooking, or it could be sitting around the campfire telling scary stories, right? So you want to make sure you're very safe with these campfires. Rule number 3 is never play with matches or lighters. You guys never play with those, right? And what if you see another kid playing with matches or lighters? What should you do? Tell an adult. Tell an adult. Tell them to stop. That's right. And as adults, they want to take those matches or lighters away from those kids so they don't start a fire. You want to make sure everybody's really safe. All right? And we have rule number 4, which is always watch your campfire. You never want to walk away from your campfire. Something could happen. Whether the wind blows and blows some embers out, it could start fires outside that campfire ring. So you want to be very safe and watch your campfire. Never leave it unattended. And rule number 5 is to make sure your campfire is completely out before you leave it. So when you guys leave to go to bed at nighttime, to go into your tent and go to sleep, you want to make sure that campfire is completely out. Yeah? Completely out, dead out. And one of those ways to do that is, we'll show you putting lots of water on that fire and then stirring it up. So the best way, we're going to talk about building a campfire. But first, we want to make sure when you guys go, before you even go out to go camping, that you have your parents look online to find out the rules and regulations of that area you're going to go to. Are they allowing campfires at that time? Sometimes in the winter, or in the summertime, it's so hot and dry outside, they don't allow campfires. So you want to check on those regulations before you go out there. Tell your parents to check so you know before you go what the rules and regulations are. Right? All right. So, when you go to build your fire pit, a lot of areas like we have here, we have a big fire ring, a metal fire ring that we've provided. But sometimes there's not those out there, so you want to put rocks around it when you're building your fire. What else you want to do is make sure around you for 10 feet is all cleared of brush, so there's no brush laying on the ground that could catch fire if spark and embers came out of that fire. Also, 10 feet above you. 10 feet above, why is that? Because that fire is putting up smoke, it's putting up heat, and it could get these trees on fire. So you want to make sure 10 feet around and 10 feet above you is cleared of all stuff that can catch fire. You want to make sure that is right when you build that campfire. So next, we're going to talk about lighting the fire. You want to be very safe. Now, who's the only people that should light that fire?
Your parents.
Your parents. And what are they? They are adults, right? Older adults, making sure they're the only ones. We don't want kids, again, playing with matches or lighters, so only adults should be lighting this fire. And I'm going to go ahead and light it for us right now using a wooden match. But after we light the fire, make sure you don't throw this match away because it could still be hot. You don't want to throw it in the trash. It could still be hot and start another fire. If it's a wood match like this one, I'll throw it into the fire and it'll burn up with the rest of the wood that's in the fire. But if it's plastic or something like that, you don't want to throw it into the fire. You never want to throw anything into the fire besides wood, right? And when you're building your campfire, see how it's small in here? Nothing's hanging out. Would you want to grab these big logs back here and have them hanging out of the fire pit? No, because they could catch fire outside the fire pit, fall out, start to grasp something on fire. So you never want to put something too big inside the campfire. You want to keep it small enough to stay in that campfire ring. All right, so you guys ready to build this fire and light it?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Another thing we want to talk about before you even light it is if you have extra wood, and you bring extra wood to burn because you're going to be here for the weekend or for a couple days, making sure you stack that wood far enough away from the fire and upwind so in case embers come out, it can't catch that wood on fire. You never want to stack it right next to your fire pit. You want to put it far enough away that it won't catch on fire. All right, so we're going to start this fire, and then we're going to talk about campfire safety and how to put this fire out. We'll see if it catches here. So we've got duff and kindling. Kindling is the smaller leaves and needles that you might find around the forest. If you go around the forest in your campground, you're allowed to pick up the dead and wood that's on the ground. It has to be dead and on the ground within the campfire, within the campsite itself. Then you guys can actually have a fire.
Oh my gosh.
And look, here comes that fire. It's starting to go, right? So remember, only the adults should be using for starting this campfire, not the children.
Ranger Judy. Oh, Ranger Judy.
When there's no fire, you can help by giving your parents the wood and bringing your parents the kindling so they can build that fire. And then when they start it, you guys can get warm from it. You can cook from that fire. So fire is a useful tool, right? Just like lighters and matches, those are tools. Lighters and matches aren't toys. They're tools to be used to start a fire for warming, for cooking, for that type of stuff. So again, it's not a toy.